The Giants have traded 2021 first-round pick Kadarius Toney to the Kansas City Chiefs for a third-round pick and a sixth-round pick. If you guys are new here, I am a Giants fan, and let me say this, I am not surprised at all by this move by the Giants. So Kadarius Toney was drafted by old Giants GM Dave Gettleman in 2021. New Giants GM Joe Schoen and new head coach Brian Daboll come in this season, and things kind of got off to a rocky start with Kadarius Toney. He didn't show up at first to voluntary OTAs and offseason programs like that. Eventually he did show up, but obviously that is a red flag. He was a second-year player going into a new system, and he didn't play a ton in his rookie season either. So you would want to see a young player like that wanting to come in and learn a new playbook and get better. So obviously that was like the first red flag. Then things seemed to be fine. They drafted Wan'Dale Robinson in the second round of this year's draft, and you're kind of like, that's interesting. That guy has a very similar skill set to Kadarius Toney. Why would they draft another wide receiver who's just like him? But the Giants said, no, we're not trading Kadarius Toney. We're not doing that. So time goes on. Everything in training camp seems kind of fine. It seems like he's all good with this new head coach, this new GM. Beginning of the season, game 1 versus the Titans, he barely played. I was really confused on why he wasn't getting more snaps. Game 2 versus Carolina, again, he barely played. Kadarius Toney was not getting snaps, and a lot of Giants fans were like, why is this happening? This is really weird. This is a guy with a lot of talent, a lot of skill. Why isn't he getting on the field, even just to, be a decoy? Then after game 2 versus Carolina, he had another hamstring injury. He was dealing with a hamstring injury earlier this summer. Now he hurt the other hamstring, and he's been out since then. So his stats for this season, the 2 games he played, he has 2 receptions for 0 yards, and 2 rushing attempts for 23 yards. And last season, his rookie season, he played in 10 games he started for. He had 39 receptions for 420 yards, no touchdowns, 3 rushes for 6 yards. They say availability is the best ability, and it's clear Kadarius Toney has not been available for the Giants. He has consistently been hurt. When he's on the field and playing, he's a superstar. He has unreal shiftiness, unreal speed, unreal yak ability. He's outstanding when he's on the field. But the thing is, he just hasn't been on it. And it makes me think there was a disconnect between him and this new regime because of the lack of playing time he got early in the season when he was healthy. He barely saw the field. So I really just don't think the chemistry was there between Kadarius Toney and this new front office and new head coach. And this trade really says something because the Giants are a team that needs wide receivers. They're playing practice squad wide receivers. They're starting practice squad wide receivers. Yes, Kadarius Toney hasn't been healthy, but for them to trade a former first-round pick wide receiver when they need to trade for wide receivers themselves or sign wide receivers this offseason or draft a wide receiver, it really says something about the situation there. It really says, we don't think this is going to work out, so we're going to make the move now. Obviously, I wish they got a second-round pick, at least for him. It stinks when you drafted a first-round pick 2 years ago and you're trading him for a third round and a sixth round pick. Obviously the value doesn't line up, but like I said, availability is the best ability. And I think the Giants were like, listen, we need a guy who maybe is not as good as Kadarius Toney, but we need someone who can consistently be out there to form a chemistry with Daniel Jones and just be that reliable guy out there. So I think that's why they made the move. And like I said, I think there was something going on behind the scenes. It seems like the chemistry wasn't really there. It seems like this wasn't a good match between Daboll and Toney, or the front office and Toney, or the Giants and Toney, whoever you want to say. I think there was some disconnect going on behind the scenes. I think this is a great move for Kansas City. They're a team that can afford to take risk. You have Patrick Mahomes out there. You're a team that can afford to take risk, especially with the way you're playing right now. Third round pick isn't, the biggest risk there, especially when you're a team that's probably going to make it far in the playoffs. It's going to be a late third round pick. But honestly, I can't help but think about Kadarius Toney and the Tyreek Hill comparison there. They don't really have that speed guy like Tyreek there. MVS, he's that speed guy now, that vertical guy who's going to lift the coverage. But I think Kadarius Toney is going to force defenses to play more like they had to play when Tyreek Hill was on the Chiefs. He's going to really lift the defense, give, more underneath space for guys like Juju Smith-Schuster. But again, the big thing is that's if he's healthy and if he's on the field. I don't know how this is going to go. It's definitely a risk for the Chiefs. It's definitely a move based on potential, and he's potentially going to be a superstar if he's healthy. He's potentially, going to be really good. I'm very interested to see how this works out, but there's no doubt about it. When he's on the field, he's insanely good. But the question is, can he stay healthy? I want to know what you guys think about this trade. Let me know in the comments down below. Peace.